Can you put your hands together? I just want God to be pleased with my praise, that's all. I want an unaffected praise, a praise without reservation, without hesitation, a praise that surpasses mere raves for salvation, that paves the way of gratification with waves of exaltation that raise his name higher, unaffected by the politics that afflict God's ministries, unaffected by conflicts that create negative synergies, unaffected by inflated egos that generate tainted energies, unaffected by those trying to make of me company for their miseries, unaffected by my reactions to the unfair tactics that God's minstrels practice. It has to be a pure praise. Thank you because you've helped me to endure praise. God, you've been so good, praise. And I should have been dead for sure kind of praise. See, I've been called to this stage, not to bathe in the lights with notoriety, not to get pats on the back from those in propriety, not to earn nods from the spiritual high society. No, this is warfare. I've been called to lead God's army into the phrase, to sound the trumpet of praise, a battle war cry which says, serve the enemy notice, retreat or be defeated. To usher in the presence of the Most High, our greatest ally, the sword and shield the enemy cannot defy. But I let man distract me from my task and mask the mantle granted me at God's hand. Instead of handing God this granite man till he masks me and acts as my distraction from man. So God, I'm asking that you intervene. Enter me to clean the debris left from these interactions and remove the distractions. Hide me behind thee so no man can find me, and accept my feeble attempt to make a sound exempt from contempt, unadulterated, undefiled, unaffected. Thank you. Song is a song I wrote for my son. It's actually a piece I wrote for my son, and a friend of mine wrote the music for me. And I was going through a rough time in my life where I was going through a divorce. And a lot of times we as adults go through all the adult stuff and the adult drama, and we forget that if there are kids involved, that we're dragging them through it with us, and they didn't ask to go through it. So I had this little 3-year-old, 4-year-old boy that was going through this divorce with me, and when the smoke cleared, I realized, wow, you just experienced that too, so I believe I owe you an apology. So this piece is called Apologetically. Sorry, baby. Sorry for forcing you to live without your father. Sorry for keeping you up later than I oughta. Sorry for not thinking my actions through harder. Sorry for not weighing the damage of being an unfathered daughter, letting the dream of being a team, co-rearing our seed, blind me from seeing the... Yeah. And wiping your eyes. I never wanted you to cry. I'm so sorry. It pains me to hear you say stained with tears. I wish Daddy were here. I never meant for you to feel alone. Didn't know his best would be even less than when home. And nowadays, he doesn't even phone. But Daddy's got some growing to do of his own, son. You do have a father, though you can't see him. And I pray to the Father to answer your plea. But his coming back to you would mean coming back to me. And I don't think this is intended to be, son. I'm sorry for all the things you'll miss because he's elsewhere. I'll take all the blame, though half of it's not here. See, son, I know how it feels not to have your father, though I'm sure it's much harder for a son than a daughter. You need an example of a God-fearing man who will help steer your manhood towards what God's will commands. A hard-working man who provides for his clan, to model your role as a family man. Who sold the plans that God's hands have laid, that young boys grow to men at their father's aid? I'm sorry. Yeah, I never wanted you to cry. No, I never wanted you to cry, son. Yeah. It's my fault for Daddy not coming and wiping your eyes. No, I never wanted you to cry. No, I never wanted you to cry, son. I cried rivers of pain that stained the pages. I lay slain at the foot of your slumber. And as I weep, still hearing your refrain of now I lay me down to sleep, I peer upon your face now arrayed with peace. For all the times you'll cry and lie down with fears, while you sleep, mommy cries your tears. 'Cause mommy still hurts when daddy's not here. But now it's because of the pain that you'll bear, son. I'm sorry. But as I blot my tears, sag lashes with tissues tattered like rags, and flash back to the fact that cash wasn't bagfuls yet. My dadless past was packed full of lasting gladness. I'm reminded that God has promised beauty for ashes, that Christ sees your tears and hears your pleas for thee, dear, and that the Father's love displayed through his Son will stand in the gap for my fatherless son, that a godly father figure will come, and that though my parenting for now is 2 in 1, Christ's love will suffice until he comes. So sleep tight, my son, and as I apologetically kiss your cheek goodnight, Christ wipes the tears from mine and whispers softly, you'll be just fine. So now I say, I'm sorry. Thank you.
That was spirit-led, y'all. Spoken word artist, as well as a psalmist. And you could tell that God, the Spirit of God led her to write that song. Because so many times you would run into people who have gone through a divorce and never give a second thought about how the kids might feel about it. But the fact that she took time out and allowed God to put pen to paper and write those words to her son really says a lot about her and her relationship with God, and now her relationship with her son. So we thank you just for sharing that tonight. May God bless you in your ministry.